Cast, here we go. We're going to get into the big spelling section now with music, which means our tempo is going to pick up. A couple quick pieces of advice before we try to run this. First of all, think ahead. This is not the time that you want your brain to wander off into la-la land, because as soon as you lose your focus, you're going to lose your place in the word. So please make sure, again, it sounds corny and cliche to stay focused, stay in the moment, but it's really true. You will lose your place like that as soon as you let your eyes and your brain start to wander. This takes 100% focus and concentration. With that said, say the letter as you do the movement. Putting the two together is just going to help with the overall memorization process, and will work both the singing and the choreography at the same time. Definitely don't suggest that you practice one without the other. So just in terms of building the muscle memory and again the overall memorization, say the letter as you do the movement. Also with that said, don't stop. Don't stop. If you make a boo-boo with one of the movements or something, but your mouth keeps going, you should be able to get right back on track a letter or two down the line. So don't panic, don't stop. Also, don't celebrate when you get it right. I did that a video or two ago, had to erase it because I forgot to keep going. I was so excited that I actually got this section up to speed. So please don't panic, but also you don't have time to stand there and celebrate your little victories. You've got to keep focused and keep going. The last thing that we talked about in the last instructional video was this. As the tempo picks up, you may need to clip your movements a little bit shorter, meaning your I letter, I use this as an example, your I letter has a big stretch between the top of your head and where your hand is. That's really easy to do a little bit slower. But when you're at like turbo speed and you've got to jump on the next letter that much faster, you just don't have time to get in the same stretch for your letters or the same sit into the hip that you did when it was a little bit slower. So my advice is you may need to cut that stretch that you had up here for the letter I, perhaps cut it in half, or all of a sudden that little sit into the hip is less of, not so much this, but maybe more so here. So just taking the movement, doing it properly, but clipping it a little bit shorter just to be able to jump on the next letter that much faster. If that doesn't make sense, absolutely come see me in rehearsal, but we will talk about that a lot in the upcoming weeks for rehearsals. So here we go with music. We're going to pick this up where we build the 5 lines behind the line leaders. We're thinking out loud just so we get some momentum under our feet before we get into the spelling section. So think ahead, don't stop, say the letters as we do the movements with music.
Supercalifragilistic.